Hey folks, welcome back to the Lone Pine Tarot, or of course, welcome to the channel if you're brand new here. Thank you so much for joining me today for day 4 of Yuletide Peace Week 2024, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of a heads up. This is my favorite topic of this entire week, because I feel like as a society, we really don't... when it comes to the end of the year, and especially when it comes to New Year's, we tend to look more towards the future, right? But we don't really look back to the past that much. We don't really think, what have I done this year that I'm really proud of myself for? So I thought, why not ask our spirit guides today that exact question? What are they most proud of you for within the past year? So let's grab our pile leader. Spirit guides coming forward for everybody watching this video. Could you please guide us to 3 cards for the 3 piles for them to pick with? Thank you. I'm excited to see your answers, too, from your spirit guides here, everybody, because I bet you there's a lot of stuff that you did this past year that they're very, very proud of you for. Okay, so let's reveal the cards, pile leaders. So for pile 1 today, your card is number 2, Radical Curiosity. Okay, so that's pile 1 is Radical Curiosity. For pile 2, here in the middle, we have 42, Home. Let's make these a little bit more neat. And last but not least, for pile 3 today, we have number 18, Radical Honesty. So, just to reiterate, pile 1, Radical Curiosity. We have 2 radicals, it seems. Pile 2 is Home, and pile 3 is Radical Honesty. So, whenever you are ready, you can drop down to the description box below or the top pinned comment beneath the reading to find the timestamp for your pile, though of course you're always welcome to just pause on this part of the reading if you need more time to decide. If you're new to pick a card readings, I always suggest just go with your first gut instinct. But when you do click on that timestamp, it'll bring you right to your pile. And then I will see you in our little chat about what are your spirit guides most proud of you for the past year. See you there. Hello there, my lovely pile number 1. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about what your spirit guides are most proud of you for in the past year. As you recall, your pile leader today was Radical Curiosity. So we have quite a pretty cute little, almost Albin looking being with the pointed ears playing a flute on, it's kind of like a purple tree. Either way, a very fantastical type image. It really does play up the idea of being curious, playing around, maybe some inner child type energy. So right off the bat, pile 1, I feel like your spirit guides, just by the nature of you being drawn to this card, are commending you for things that you explored this year. Maybe even you indulged in a bit more play this year. Maybe previous years have been more so like, all work and no play makes Jane a dull girl. But this year maybe you had indulged a bit more in things you were curious about. Or maybe even you got into reading more fiction, things like that. Something that sparks the imagination. Something that really makes your heart come alive. Because as much as we're here on Earth to do, lesson type things, more like the hard work of being a soul incarnated in this dimension, in this body, things like that. Life isn't completely about work. It's also about play. Okay, so I'm getting kind of that vibe right away for your reading. They're really proud of you for the way that you indulged in some inner child energy this year, playing a bit more. But of course, even funny too, because I say that and then I just think about, oh, she is actually like playing an instrument, like play. So music could also be an aspect too. I don't know if you picked up like a new instrument this year or started listening to like a new genre of music this year, pile 1. Something about music as well I'm getting off of this particular card that you were drawn to. Very beautiful. So let's draw your other oracle cards as well to continue the reading. Get some more nitty-gritty details here. So spirit guides for my wonderful pile 1. Could you show us more about what are you proud of them for this past year? What should they pat themselves on the back for more? Okay, it looks like there's 2 cards in that. They came out very, very quickly. So we have both from the Citadel Oracle, the Herald, and we also have the Founder. So the Herald is the element of water with small regrets, longing as the tagline. And then we have the Founder, which is element of fire with foundations and community, which is interesting too, because in the background of this card, we have the moon at the top, and in the background of this one, we have the sun at the top, okay? So I think it also has been kind of a year of opposites, exploring both more masculine and feminine energy type things. Perhaps you seem to have like gotten a lot done in terms of both like internal, emotional, spiritual work here, as well as more like masculine energy tasks, like going forward with your ambitions in like career or like getting things done. I see something too about maybe you got something done with like your home, like interior decorating, you repainted some things as well. Something along those lines to kind of like freshen and liven up your space is what I'm seeing. Let's see, I'm actually going to put these up here. Very, very balanced here. And also, too, I think this might have been a year I'm getting from these cards where you reflected a lot, pile one, is another thing they want to commend you for. You reflected a lot about... They're saying it's something about changing your opinions or the way that you think about something. Because especially when we talk about the Herald here with small regrets and longing, I think of you looking over things in your life in this past year, from maybe even up to years ago, and you're realizing, oh, maybe I could have done that thing better, or, oh, I kind of had a regret of some sort with something that happened. And it's like this year was a really, really good year to extract truths out of events in your life. Like, say, for example, like maybe you made a mistake 5 years ago that you really regret, and maybe it's something that just has taken a long time to really process, to really understand. And like, it's like this year is the year that it finally clicked. So when you think about things to be proud of in the past year, your spirit guides are also saying, look at lessons learned from mistakes, no matter if they were technically like this year or even up to just throughout your entire life, things that really finally clicked for you as to why, you know, why that mistake occurred, or like the lesson learned from it, things like that. Two, I think it was a very good year for building a lot of, and I'm drawn especially because of the Founder and foundations being the tagline with this card, like foundational type energy for the next stage of your life here, pile one. Like, not only just in terms of the lessons we're talking about, that you maybe reviewed a lot this year, or memories you kind of really try to extract the kernel of truth out of this year from prior years, but it's like a lot of you laying the bottom brickwork for things in the future. So I don't know, like maybe if you've been planning a business of some sort, or really being like nose to the grindstone about getting something off of the ground as well, as what they're saying. It's like you laying like literal foundations here, they're saying, with the Founder. Foundations too, and especially things done in small ways, because like you might, and we do this as people just in general, like as humans, we really focus on like big milestones, right? We focus on giant steps that we've taken, but there are a lot of smaller milestones and steps that you either like obstacles you overcame, or steps that you took that were like more tiny, that they're really saying that they want you to pay attention to. I think we'll glean more details about exactly what those are with the tarot cards, as well as some of the other oracle cards I'm going to draw, but that is what I'm seeing so far for you here, pile one, from these cards. Two, I think avoiding pitfalls too, and pitfalls and dangers. Like, not dangerous to your, like, life or anything, like that drastic, pile one, but especially because I'm drawn to the imagery of, like, the hare and then the serpents beneath it here with the Herald card. It's like, you as the hare, and, like, life just seemed to kind of throw a lot of curveballs and maybe, like, metaphorical snakes your way in this past year. But it's like you were quick and you were agile, because I think of the habit, or I was going to call it the habit. My mind combined the word hare and rabbit together, a habit, right? But maybe it really means habits too. That could have been an intentional slip of the tongue there. But I think of hares or like rabbits as like very quick, clever beings. They have to be very quick because they're prey beings, right? They have to be smart. They have to be alert. And it's like you have been very alert this year, pile one. Paying attention to things. Maybe avoiding pitfalls that you didn't avoid in the past. And perhaps that's also reflective of like those lessons learned from the past that I was talking about as well. earlier, like those smaller milestones, those smaller, like the emotional work done to really reflect on those mistakes has made you all the more clever about avoiding curveballs or mistakes in the future. I'm drawn to this one for you. Ooh, the Mystic. See, I was talking about like you exploring things more emotionally this year. This kind of harkens back to that feminine energy with the moon I was seeing with the Herald card. Specifically, though, the Mystic is about, well, I'll just read the card. It says, light attribute revels in intimate union with the divine, or shadow attribute delusional rapport with the divine. So I think they're also saying that there's a lot of spiritual work that you've done this past year, pile one, that they're very proud of you for. I don't know if you started meditating, or maybe you started learning like cardomancy, like tarot yourself, or it could be like maybe there's a new deity that you started working with that you really clicked with. And two, because of the prevalence like of a lot of like purple colors, not just the tree here in your Radical Curiosity pile leader, but as well as literally the color of purple here in the Mystic, purple is the color of spirituality. It is the color of intuition and spiritual power. And so it seems like that's been a really good year for this for you as well. Just tapping into your intuitive powers, growing your spiritual powers compared to maybe what you had done in the past. One of those milestones I'm hearing too was a spiritual milestone in terms of your spiritual abilities. It was either like, I see a lot of you opening a door is the message coming through. It's like you open a completely new door into something new that they're really commending you for in terms of spirituality and like spiritual abilities. Like you really started working with something, I'm hearing. So yeah, and then let's get your tea leaves here. This deck I always kind of shuffle in a unique way because it's very, very big. Okay, well, that came out and I'm actually going to take it. Table, hard work ahead. So we'll talk about that in a second. So this deck I always kind of just take chunks of because it is so huge. Okay. And then we shuffle the remaining. Okay. Can't promise I'm going to shuffle this very well. I think I take too many cards with this, but we'll see. There we go. I managed. It's not easy being a tarot reader with small hands. Okay. Spirit guides, same thing with this deck. What else are you proud of them for? Okay, that came out. And then I'm going to take both this one as well. And actually, I'm going to take 4 for you. So, pile 1 from your tea leaves, at least. We have the hard work ahead table. We have boat, money, or property through an inheritance winning or windfall. Okay, so seems to have been maybe also a prosperous year in terms of making do with the money that you did receive, either through, maybe you did get like an inheritance or a winning of some sort. If that's the case, pile 1, they're really proud of the way that you handled that money, handled working with that inheritance, or maybe you had to do with like some of the legal paperwork around that, things like that. We have the Ram, a stubborn, aggressive person. Okay, so maybe you had to deal with someone who was kind of a pain in the butt this past year as well. Of course, that's probably common to every year. There's always kind of one fly in the ointment, right? And then we have woman, dealing to relationship with a woman. So I think that tends to be, I'm hearing like the Ram and the woman are connected here. So it was like a stubborn, aggressive woman. I don't know if it was like someone at your work or in your family, something along those lines, pile 1. But they're really commending you for the way that you cleverly handled dealing with that particularly frustrating woman. Okay. Because yeah, they keep saying pain in the butt. Like this particular person was just a pain in the butt. Okay. Like they just kept headbutting into you and just being like an obstacle, but they're saying you handled it really like deftly and like they're hearkening back to that rabbit or the hare with like being like clever and being quick. It's like you already kind of knew what she was going to do before she did it. And that intuition, that understanding and instinct, like they're patting you on the back for, they're like, yes, okay, now you know how to avoid people like that, pile 1. Like you handled that really well with grace is what they're saying. That particular woman, that was a little bit frustrating, it seems. Yeah, so then we talked about the boat with the money or inheritance, and hard work ahead with the table. So I think also this reminds me too of foundations, like, because when we think of a table, we think of something that like supports something, right? We put all of our items on a table or our food on a table, things like that. And so I think this year they're saying you should really commend yourself for a lot of strides and hard work that you made towards the basics, okay? Not only just your job or like whatever you do for a living, pile one, in terms of finances, but also patting yourself on the back for the keyword determination is what's really coming forward from your spirit guides right now. Not be surprised if you get the 9 of Wands with your particular tarot cards when we do draw those, but yeah, patting yourself on the back for the foundational work. Once again, building up to something, and just general everyday life type things of good job on just getting through, being determined, like with that keyword we just talked about. And then, let's see, I'm going to look over your oracle cards in totality here before we do draw the tarot cards. Yeah, I believe we covered everything with the oracle cards. Yeah, so a lot of the keywords coming out just for this year in general for you leading up to this day, pile one, are play, like we talked about, being very curious, sharp of mind, okay? I also see that maybe you partook in a lot of like mentally stimulating activities that your spirit guides really want to commend you for. And I'm not going to say it's exactly chess specifically, but I'm hearing something along the lines of like chess, where it's a very like logical type pursuit that they're patting you on the back for. Maybe that was like that musical instrument thing I was talking about earlier, because learning music or reading music or playing a new instrument is, you know, as you know, like a very mentally stimulating activity. It's like you really like some people, they'll have a New Year's resolution of like, oh, I'm going to pump iron to like get that nice beach bod or whatever, or like have a summer bod, whatever, a glow up. But it's like this past year for you has been more like of a mental workout, it seems like. Like you have been really good about going to like the mental gym is what they're telling me this past year. Like there's a lot of information and a lot of things that you've done that are really foundational, harkening back to that keyword, for the future coming in 2025 here, pile one. Okay. And let's see, I'm trying to, if there's anything else here before we do grab your tarot cards for the entire reading here. Yes, we talked about the spirituality. Okay, so let's grab your tarot cards. So using the Yuletide Tarot, which is very fitting for this, well, not only this year, time of year in Yuletide Peace Week, but very fitting for the decor we have on the table here. Spirit guides coming forward for my lovely pile one. Could you give me around 5 tarot cards? What are you proud of them for this past year? Okay, that was fast. Okay, let's see, how many is that? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we need one more. I think I already know which one it is. Yes, that one. Okay. So, revealing your tarot cards, pile one. Right off the bat, we have, what did I tell you? I was like, I would not be surprised if you get the 9 of Wands. Remember when I said that, pile one? Look at that. So it's called candles in this particular deck because it's like a Yuletide deck, but that's the 9 of Wands in most decks. Okay. Called it. Okay, so we have the 9 of Wands, which, like I said, the keyword for that is determination. So they're really emphasizing this for you, pile one. This has been a year of determination for you. You have been tough. Maybe even the stubborn woman has sometimes been yourself, okay? Or stubborn person, I should say. I get like Aries energy, especially because of the ram, but yeah. And fire, too, because Aries is fire as well, and so is Wands and Tarot. And specifically, this imagery is of a man holding, he's going Christmas shopping or just gift shopping in general, and although it's like his bag rips out here, and the candles are falling out, and it's like he's tired. He's like, oh my god, I had to go shopping for all these things. And then there's like still this thing that's kind of wearing me out because these candles are falling out of my bag. And so I think I'm getting a sense, pile one, not just the determination aspect. That's really what they're emphasizing. But that on top of that, there's been something this past year where it was like a really difficult project, they're saying. And you had a moment like that where you thought everything was in the bag and then there was like a hole leaking out of the bottom, either literally or like metaphorically speaking. Like, I'm trying to think of a really good example. Like, say you were at a project at work and you thought you had all your bases covered, and then you realize, like, towards the end, oh crap, there's this, like, complete aspect of this project we completely forgot to account for. And it's like you hauled ass at, like, the very last minute, and it, like, you got it through and it went well, really, or it went really well, I should say. That's also something they're really emphasizing here. And then we have the 7 of Wands reversed. Okay, letting go of defensiveness. So we'll talk about that. I think that might be related to the stubborn person we were talking about earlier that maybe you had to deal with, letting go of defensiveness. And then the King of Cups reversed. Interesting. We'll talk about that. We have the Lovers reversed. Okay, maybe you cut out some toxic people this past year as well. Pile 1. And then last but not least, we have the 10 of Wands reversed, letting go of burdens. Yeah, so it seems, too, they're really commending you for cutting ties this past year with any people that have been kind of burdensome, especially people that kind of trigger your defensiveness with the 7 of Wands having come out reversed. This has been, not only a good year of exploring emotions, too, because we do have the King of Cups reversed here. It's like, that was something that you worked on a lot. I don't know if maybe, like, you went to therapy or something and worked through a lot of, like, emotional related things, or maybe, like, you had a friend or, like, a family member that you really got close to this past year that you kind of talked it out with them a lot. But either way, it's like they're commending you for being really good about your relationships this past year and cutting out toxic people where you did. And also, I feel like there's an element of self-care here as well, especially because of the 10 of Wands reversed. Like I said, that's releasing burdens. I think you've been really good about self-care regarding these relationships as well, making sure that it's not more not more take than it is give, back and forth, okay? Like, they're saying you've been really good about trying to balance that and not letting people take too much from you, especially, like, maybe that's part of why this frustrating woman that we talked about earlier was kind of an issue. Like, maybe she was the one who was, like, trying to take too much from you, and you finally, like, stood your ground, and you're like, no, no, I'm going to defend myself. I'm going to be determined, and I'm going to stand up for myself. And especially because of the Lovers reversed here with Mistletoe reversed, it's like, that's about, like, disharmony in relationships, and then also the Lovers more traditionally can talk about making choices. So it's like making good choices with relationships here was something that you worked on as well, especially where they were burdensome. Yeah, and so, too, in terms of the energy of the elements with your tarot cards, you have a lot of wands, or candles as they're known in this deck. That's a lot of fire, okay? And fire in tarot is all about your ego, in a good way, like a healthy way, or I guess it can be negative depending on if it's upright or reversed, but ego in general, your passions, your willpower, things like that. Creativity is another really good aspect of the element of fire in tarot. And so that has also seems to have been, like, a really good focus this past year for you that they're clapping and applauding you for. Really honing your passions, creativity, especially with music here, like we talked about earlier. And then you also have, you have cups. You have the King of Cups, which is water in tarot as cups. And then you also have the Lovers, which is also, because it's a relationship card, I kind of associate as, like, a water element type card in tarot, personally at least. And so it seems like there's a lot of water element here too, which is, emotions, feelings, relationships. Seems to have been another really good thing that they're kind of, like, applauding you for in this past year, pile 1. So just a very, very good year in terms of those things. So they really they want you to pat yourself on the back for pile 1. Because I get the feeling that I'm not getting the feeling of, like, whether or not it was, like, a particularly difficult year for you compared to other years, pile 1, but it seems like there might have been a lot of stress around, like, fallouts of, like, relationships with other people, or, like, cutting ties with people, and it might have caused grief, it might have caused a lot of stress, but they're saying you handled it with, like I said before, like, a lot of grace. Like, you handled things very delicately in a good way, or, like, the way that you were supposed to, in terms of, like, your life lessons or soul contracts, right? So just a very, they keep telling me it was a salad year, which sounds very odd, but it's like a salad year is in terms of like, you know, eating your veggies. Like it was very healthy for you. You made good choices this year in terms of your spirit, in terms of your heart. Like you chose yourself this year in a good way to make your life healthier. Just a lot of, they're also saying wisdom. Very, very wise year in terms of your relationships. And protecting yourself is another thing they're saying, like wisdom in protecting oneself. I think because we were talking about like releasing burdens with relationships here, that's kind of a reflection of that as well. Yeah. Beautiful. Just making sure I'm not missing anything here. I think we covered everything, pile one, but let's just make sure. So yeah, just to summarize everything, pile one, the main things to pat yourself on the back for this year, at least from the perspective of your spirit guides, is, like we said, the keywords have been your curiosity, your determination, your grace with handling difficult people is another thing. Your growth in spirituality and your spiritual abilities was another thing that they emphasized, okay? Making really healthy choices for yourself in terms of both mental stimulation and your intelligence, as well as your relationships is like another thing that they really are commending you for. And in general, they're summarizing this past year for you in terms of what they're proud of as, like we said before, a very foundational year. You've been really good about laying down the bricks for an even better year next year for 2025, okay? Or the next year from whenever you view this, because this technically is a timeless reading, even though it's 2024 in the time that I'm recording it, but yeah. So pat yourself on the back today, pile one, because those are the things that they're saying you should pat yourself on the back for. Okay. So, you know, as you walk away from this reading, just reflect on things that apply to you that we talked about. And know that they're just commending you for all of this. Okay. So yeah, like I said, I was really excited for this topic today. I was like, oh, this is going to be so cool. Because I don't know if any other tarot readers have ever done like a what are your spirit guides most proud of you for type reading. I'm sure it's been done before. I just I haven't seen it personally. So yeah, I hope you liked the reading. I hope you liked the topic. And if you liked it, if it resonated with you, please like and comment and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. And as our tradition on the channel, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Hope to see you tomorrow for the final day of Yuletide Peace Week. Okay. And I'll see you in the next reading whenever that is, if it's either tomorrow or sometime in the future afterwards. So yes, okay. Bye, pile one. Hello there, my lovely pile number 2. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about what your spirit guides are most proud of you for in the past year. As you recall, your pile leader today was number 42, home. And I'll just read the little tagline down here. It says, may your body be where a harmonious balance of love, strength, light, and pleasure lives. Okay, so this card to me just screams self-care. I mean, not only just because of what the tagline said, but the woman sitting in, it looks like a hot spring, okay? It could have been a year that was very rejuvenating for you in terms of your spirit and your heart and your body, okay? Or maybe there was a lot of focus on health this past year that your spirit guides are just really commending you for, you know, getting through tough times with health, as well as making sure you do self-care, because as we all know, a lot of us tend to neglect self-care too much because of our busy world. Especially at this time of year with the holidays, how busy it is. But yes, self-care seems to be like the first theme coming through. They're proud of the way you listen to your body in the past year. You listen to your heart in terms of, what do I need to de-stress today? Asking yourself questions like that. Okay, so let's set your pile leader over to the left as usual, and then we'll draw your oracle cards to begin the reading. So, spirit guides coming forward for pile 2 today. What are you most proud of them for in the past year? What are you most proud of them for? Thank you. What should they pat themselves on the back for? Okay. Oh my god. I don't know if I could take that many cards, but let's take at least the 3, or like the 2 that were up, and then the first one, okay? So, just because I do have limited space on the table. So it looks like we have first up with the element of water, the painter with productivity and creation. Okay, so I don't know, pile 2, if you started doing painting in the past year or something to do with like colors and using like a drawing utensil of some sort, like colored pencils, ink, watercolor, oils, things like that. So it seems to have been anything that you did creative this past year, they're really proud of you for. Especially, I'm hearing in terms of creativity that revealed, like that was like therapeutic when you did it. Like art for the sake of self-therapy is what they're saying to me for you. There's something to be gleaned from things that you did like that to that extent this past year. Then we have the cartographer with the element of air, a crossroads exploration, okay? I don't know if you either traveled this past year or you were like making plans to travel, pile 2. Maybe even drawing maps, maybe like fantasy maps too, if you're into like, say, world building, things like that. Which also kind of combines too with like the creativity aspect. Also, too, can it just mean like navigating in terms of yourself, understanding more about who you were this past year. So some sort of exploration. Maybe glean more details with your tarot cards. And then we have, interesting, pile 1 got this as well, the founder with the element of fire, foundations, and community. Okay. Building good foundations for the future. It seems to be kind of a collective theme this past year for everybody, at least for our soul circle here on this channel, in this community. I'm hearing something about it's like a group that you're in, pile 1. I don't know if you led a group in some way. There's like a leadership quality here with this particular founder card. They're saying. For some reason I'm hearing like something about either like Freemasons or like Knights of Columbus, I think they're called. I think that's like a group out there. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then, or like the Order of the Eastern Star, something like that. It was like a volunteer or community type thing that you did. They're really emphasizing, or like you volunteered for something, or like a group that does a lot of volunteering or like donating money or time to things. Yeah. And I want to say there's like a uniform that you wear with it. So that's why I thought of like Freemasons, because I think of like they have like the fez hats or like, but it didn't have to be specifically the Masons, because I know like, at least I know like Freemasons are typically, and then Eastern Star are like typically like gender kind of locked depending on, you know, who gets allowed in, but something along those lines, or it was like volunteering or work for a group like that, even if you weren't necessarily a part of that group, pile 2. They're commending you for something along those lines. Charitable work or like nonprofit charity type work, yeah. Very interesting. Let's grab your Archetypes card here. And then we also have the Tea Leaf Fortunes to grab as well. And of course, tarot. We haven't even gotten to the tarot cards yet. We always kind of do those towards the end, but... So let's grab your Archetypes card. What are they most proud of you for? Pile 2. I'm feeling this one right here. We have the Judge. You know what I was talking about? And it was weird because when I was talking about the uniform with the group, like the charity or volunteering thing, I was like, it kind of feels like you were in robes. That can also mean like choir. I know like choir groups tend to wear robes too. Something along those lines, pile 2, that they're commending you for. And like, yeah, judges wear robes too. In fact, choir robes kind of look like judge robes from my own personal choir experience, but I'll read what this says here. It says, light attributes, balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power, shadow attributes, offering only destructive criticism, misusing business, legal, or criminal authority. Yeah, it's like they're telling me there's something you stood up for in the past year or two that was like, you stood up for fairness in some way. And it doesn't literally have to be like within a court, or maybe it was. I don't know if you served in like a jury of some sort or whatever is the equivalent in your country where you are. But yeah, it's like public fairness, public good. They're saying that you should pat yourself on the back for. and being someone focused on fairness and justice. Although I'm hearing that that's typically like not just a this past year thing for you, pile 2. I think that's like an integral part of who you are, is being very attuned to like what's fair and what's just, okay? You're probably like one of those people where something's unfair and you're not afraid to actually speak up, which is rare. Okay, we need more people like you in the world if that's the case, if that applies to you. But yeah, and 2, like if you did have any court cases that maybe you had to go through this past year, pile 2, and especially if they were like grueling, like say like divorce court or some legal battle you really had to fight through, they're commending you for your strength in getting through that particular issue. Okay, that's another thing that I'm hearing. Okay, and then let's look at your tea leaf fortunes as well. So this is a very big deck. I just tend to shuffle it in a very specific way, just taking chunks of it, because I have little tiny baby hands and I can't shuffle giant decks. So what else are they proud of you for? Let's take a gander at that with the tea leaves. What else are you proud of them for, spirit guides? I'm also hearing something that you felt smug about. Like someone got their just desserts is what I'm hearing. And you were like the cause of it. Dogs, getting together with friends. Okay, that kind of reminds me of the community thing too. Maybe your social relationships with friends this past year, they're really commending you for, especially if there's been like a major milestone in a friendship with someone that you know. And then I'm also drawn to this card. We have Broom, new home, new attitudes. It's almost like spring cleaning. It's like you did a lot of cleaning out this year of the old, letting in room for the new. Maybe you even like physically, literally like cleaned your house really well, maybe for selling it or your apartment, whatever your particular living situation is. Yeah, it's like they're commending you for like both physical cleaning in some way, especially like bigger projects, maybe I'm hearing garage sale for some of you too for some reason. Yeah, it's like a spring cleaning and a garage sale thing. They're like, good on you for cleaning out your space, is what they're saying. Yeah, Let's see, make sure I'm not missing anything with your oracle cards here, pile 2. I'm also hearing that you have been really good about balancing the different aspects of your life in this past year, pile 2. Like, a lot of people tend to get really caught up in, like, being very nose to the grindstone with work, but, like, neglecting, like, family or self-care. Or vice versa, like too much self-care but not enough about like work and family. But it's like you've been really well-rounded this past year, they're saying, about like being really good about paying close attention and energy to everything, but not at the sacrifice of yourself, harkening back to the self-care message we had here with your pile leader with home. Yeah. And 2, I'm still curious about the cartographer. Making maps for the future. Did you make a major decision this past year, pile 2? About, sorry, I know that's kind of vague. I'm hearing it's about your trajectory in life, like a major choice regarding like where you like live and then impacting like even like where you work because of that, or like a different career choice, like changing careers. There's some sort of like major pivot that you made in the past year, like a giant pivot that they're commending you for. Like there's a lot of new energy coming in of you like taking a different path. They're really saying you should pat yourself on the back for that, pile 2. Like good on you for making that major choice because it was a necessary one. For health, they're saying it's like a major choice for health. And that can mean they're saying like both emotional and like physical health even too. And maybe even some of that cleaning was part of what we were talking about with, like maybe the painting could even have been like you combining that with the cleaning. It was like you redid, I don't know, like you remodeled part of your living space, or like you repainted something. It's something about the color that you changed something to, they're saying. Like, it was a really good choice. I know it's a very odd thing for them to commend you for, but it's like, they're saying in terms of color therapy, it was like a really good choice for your mental state to change the color of that room to whatever color you changed it to. Okay. Or like something about bedding as well. It's like you changed your like the main color of like your interior decorating. They're saying it was more aligned with who you are as a person. Okay. Like it was more in tune with your spirit. And I know it sounds like an odd thing for them to like commend you for something as simple as like, oh, interior decorating, but they're saying it's because it's reflective of you paying more close attention to what you need as a person. Like that self-care message we were talking about earlier, pile 2. Like they're really glad when you express yourself in that way, because it's something to do with like your mental state. Like it improves your mental state. Whatever that color is. Very strange. In a good way. Strange in a good way, yeah. Very interesting. Okay. Let's draw your tarot cards, pile 2. So, spirit guides. What else are you proud of, pile 2, for the past year? What did they do that you're so proud of? Thank you. 5 cards around there, please. Thanks. Okay, we have the Lovers reversed. Interesting. Pile 1 also got that. We have a lot of synchronicities with pile 1 today. Lovers reversed is traditionally about a choice, but of course can literally mean about romantic relationships or close relationships in general. We'll see what else pops out. We have the 10 of Wands reversed. Once again, pile 1 also got this card. If you were also drawn to pile 1, pile 2, I would recommend maybe reviewing that pile as well. That, or we have a lot of shared collective energy in the community here for Lone Pine Tarot, it seems. So relieving burdens, beautiful. The Sun reversed, okay. Perhaps you got out of a bit of an emotional funk. Maybe some of that interior decorating was kind of a aspect of that. The 2 of Swords. Oh, remember I was talking about, I was like, I feel like you made a new direction and a choice. That's literally what the 2 of Swords is all about, is making a choice of some sort. Okay, also the Lovers, like I said, traditionally can mean a choice as well. So it's been a year of choices that they're really commending you for. And then, yeah, Page of Swords reversed. Okay, so lots of air energy because of all the swords, which is about the mind. So a lot of the ways that you have been changing the way that you think in the past year, they're commending you for as well, okay? I don't know if... It seems like, especially because of the presence of the Page of Swords reversed along with the Sun reversed, pile 2, that before this year, there was some sort of like negative mindset that you kept weighing yourself down with. And it's like this year was finally the year that you trained your brain like out of that negative mindset, or at least you made a really, really good step forward about getting out of that negative pattern of thinking, okay? I want to say it was like more of a trend towards optimism versus pessimism because of the presence of the Sun. Also, too, there's a lot about the color yellow. I don't know if you painted something yellow in your house or your apartment, wherever you live. Yellow. Something about yellow, but yeah. And it's like that changing of that mindset, or at least the major step that you took, was so pivotal to everything this year that they're really telling you, please pat yourself on the back for that, pile 2, because that is a really, really, really good step in the direction of making your life that much easier, okay? Like, they keep saying crucial. It's very crucial to it. And 2, with the 2 of Swords and the Lovers reversed, you've made good choices this past year as well. Probably related to that pivotal change we were talking about, but yeah. 2, with the 10 of Wands reversed being apparent, or a part of your reading, pile 2. That's about relieving burdens, okay? So not only in terms of, say, self-care maybe is something you focused on a bit more that you should be proud of, like your pile leader says, and that can relieve burdens as being better about our self-care, of course, but it's like the element of cleaning might not have just been you like literally cleaning things here with like broom, but cleaning house and renewing energy in terms of yourself in like, it's like a mental fresh start, they keep saying. There's a mental fresh start for you. Yeah. It's like turning your brain around, they keep saying. It's very odd. It's like literally the image they're showing me is like of a brain turning around, like a mental state turning around completely. And that's going to give you so much better of a time next year, Pile 2. It seems to be the main thing that they're very proud of you for. Yeah, making choices towards a better mindset. And 2, even with the prominence of yellow in your reading, okay? Yellow, too, is the, it's the color of air, or it's like associated with the element of air, which is also of the mind, right? We also think of yellow as like happiness and joy and warmth and truth, too, because the sun in tarot can also mean like a truth of some sort, revealing truths. And just being more aligned with yourself and the truth of yourself. And I think that's what spurred that change that they're proud of you for. Okay. Let's see. Anything else? I'm going to look over your tarot cards a bit closely here, more of the symbolism. I think you've also been, and it's odd because you didn't get any Pentacles cards, Pile 2, but they're also telling me you've been better about your finances that you should be proud of as well. You've been better about, it's like bills you paid off that you were finally able to pay off this year, or like a loan you were finally able to pay off. And it had been piling up, and then finally you're like, oh God, I got rid of that stress or that burden of that loan or like that money that I owed. Like debts repaid is how I would summarize that you should be proud of as well. Yeah. Just a very, very good foundational year for the next year, Pile 2. Sorry, it was kind of quiet there. There were some intuitive messages coming through, but yeah. Well, I believe that is actually everything coming through here, Pile 2. So just to summarize your entire reading, they're really commending you for changes you made towards self-care this past year. They're proud of you for an attitude of cleaning, both internally and even just like maybe externally, like cleaning a little bit more, especially in terms of like interior decorating, making choices that are more aligned with who you are as a person, especially in color they had emphasized. Your social relationships with other people, they're commending you for this past year, and things related to legal things with the judge, but just being also a staunch advocate for fairness, even in the smallest ways in your life for both you and other people. Okay, being fair to yourself, being fair for others, okay? And then the major thing I just want to reemphasize that they're really proud of you for, Pile 2, is your good choices this past year, as well as a very important pivotal choice that you made. That's the main thing really coming forward. Like the shining star beacon of this reading is that pivotal change you made, whatever it was. There was a major choice, and they're like, you made the damn good choice, okay? Is what they're saying. Damn good is the specific phrase that they're telling me. Yeah, so pat yourself on the back, please, Pile 2, over that, especially that major choice, okay? Because they're saying, like, that was, the way they're showing it to me is it's like they're watching over you as your spirit guides, and they were kind of biting their nails and like, oh God, I hope they make the right choice when that particular crossroads came up, right? And the moment you made it, they were like, oh, thank God. They made the right choice. And so, like, they're really emphasizing that. They're even showing, like celebratory energy with it. Like, they were celebrating when you made that choice. So if you ever doubted that choice this past year, please don't, because that major lifestyle choice or change was the right path to take. Okay, so especially pat yourself on the back for that one, pile 2. And that concludes our reading for today. So thank you so much for tuning in for day 4 of Yuletide Peace Week. I really hope you tune in for tomorrow as well for the final day, day 5, okay? If you liked the reading, if it resonated with you today, please like and comment and subscribe to the channel. And as is our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, full of applauding yourself, okay? Please do. And I hope to see you in the next reading, pile 2. Bye. Hello there, my lovely pile number 3. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about what your spirit guides are most proud of you for in the past year. And as you recall, your pile leader you chose was number 18, Radical Honesty. And I'll just read the subtitle. It says, "To believe in the facade is to suffocate in the armor of alienation, self-defeat, and self-denial." So right off the bat, based on just the pile leader you were intuitively drawn to, pile 3, I'm hearing your spirit guides are very proud of you for, the key word is your vulnerability in the past year, okay? Literally, because of the symbolism of this card, the woman taking off her armor, she set her shield down and she's taking off her helm. She's showing who she is, and specifically, I don't know if you can pick it up on camera, but there are scars on her face. She's been kind of hurt. She's been damaged in the past, okay? So it seems like this past year, your spirit guides are very proud of the way that you've shown the weaknesses of yourself to others, okay? Or at least, if not to others, also just maybe admitting some to yourself, okay? Maybe you did a little bit of shadow work this past year, or at the very least, you worked really hard on being honest with yourself. And they say, please pat yourself on the back for that, because that is really hard. A lot of people just go through life not even really thinking about their own flaws or thinking about their own vulnerabilities that they don't want to admit. And it seems like the imagery they're showing me for you, pile 3, is a mirror. Okay, it's like you showed a mirror upon yourself and you said, here I am being radically honest about who I am. And that's okay. And I'm proud of that. And even the parts that maybe I'm not proud of, I can work with that and I can fix it. Okay, so it seems like there's been a lot of self-development this past year, pile 3, that you should be proud of. Okay. So please be proud of that. And of course, though, we have lots of other cards to get to and to tie together with your pile leader. So let's draw your oracle cards. So spirit guides for pile 3, what are you most proud of them for in the past year? Can you tell us some more? Thank you. With these particular decks. So from the Citadel Oracle. Okay, that one for sure was going to pop out. And then I'm also going to take this one. So revealing the one that was screaming to come out, we have with the element of earth, the gambler, loss, risks, okay. And then your second oracle from the Citadel Oracle is the element of fire with the diviner, divine timing and evaluation. Looking for signs, okay. So it seems, pile 3, there is a situation in the past year where they're saying you were able to see a risk ahead of time or a bad gamble and you avoided it. You were very wise about, maybe that wasn't such a smart thing to do. Maybe I shouldn't take that choice. And they're saying you were right in not doing that. It was a risk of some sort. That's your key to knowing what it is specifically in your life, pile 3. A risk, especially when it comes to you having maybe invested in something or it should be not investing in something. You're very good about calculated risks or not taking risky options. Okay, also too, in connecting with your Radical Honesty card, I think maybe if some of you do or have in the past at least struggled with spending or maybe even gambling like the gambler here, it seems like you made really good strides in the past year towards fixing those issues. Being honest with yourself about hey, maybe I spend too much on things, maybe I should cut back a little bit, or maybe, I go to the casino a little bit too often, maybe I should cut back on going to the casino, maybe limit myself to, a few times a year rather than more often or something like that. And so they're saying really commend yourself as well for cutting back on your spending. Okay. Cutting back on your financial risks. Okay. And 2, I'm getting a sense of you, even if you didn't consciously know it, pile 3, and it was just a subconscious recognition, there were signs that you understood from your spirit guides that led you in the right direction, that they're commending you for noticing. Okay, so you might have like literally have seen like synchronicities or like symbols or symbolisms from your signs from your spirit guides. Okay. But some of you, it might have been unconscious, but you still recognized it. Because they're telling me it's like you learned more of their language this past year, the way that they speak to you. And they're commending you for getting more in touch with them, for understanding them a little bit more when they're trying to send you help and signs, okay? Because the diviner makes me think of like looking for signs. Like reading things within signs, okay? And they're saying you've been good about that this past year. Listening to them. Because that's what they're there for, pile 3. They're there for you to help you. And it seems that you've been very, very good about listening to their advice this past year. So they're proud of you for that as well. Okay. And then we're going to grab the Archetypes deck here. I will shuffle it off camera because it's a little bit big, but there we go. So let's see. From this deck, Spirit Guides, what are you most proud of pile 3 for this past year? Okay, we got 2 cards. So hope I can fit them. We'll cross our fingers. I will make room. I'll make sure to make room. So the first card here is the Angel. Did you work more with angels this year too, pile 3? Noticing angel numbers like 1111 is a very common one. Maybe that's some of the signs and synchronicities that you were very good about paying attention to. But yes, so we have the Angel light attribute, helping those in need with no expectation of return. Shadow attributes, acting innocent or angelic to mislead others, falsely claiming to be in touch with angelic guidance. Okay, so I'll put Angel up here at the top. So, being angelic, helping those in need with no expectation of return. So there seems to be also an element of selflessness here in the past year that they're proud of you for, pile 3. Also, if you did work more with angels or noticing like guardian angel type energy, because they're also kind of your spirit guides, right? Angels can be. So it's like, thank you for noticing us, they're saying. Thank you for listening to us. Even if you didn't consciously know it. Like just listening to, sometimes pile 3, it can just be like listening to your gut instinct. Even if you don't know where it's coming from. Even if you don't know that it's like your spirit guides trying to funnel that information to you. Yeah. And then we have Liberator. Interesting. Light attributes. Freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs. Releasing negative thought patterns. Shadow attributes. Imposing your tyranny over those you claim to liberate. Ignoring legitimate constraints. Okay, so Liberator. Freeing oneself. We literally have someone holding a torch, almost like the Statue of Liberty, right? That's a common symbolism we think of when it comes to with the torch, a woman holding a torch. Yeah, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, negative thought patterns. So I think, too, part of that radical honesty that you should be proud of, or at least your spirit guides are very proud of you for, pile 3, is you understanding more about yourself, free from outdated beliefs about yourself, okay? Because oftentimes in life we can get wrapped up in outdated beliefs about ourselves that were either like stemming from childhood or negative relationships we had, people that were around that were like negative, things like that, that didn't have our best interests in heart when they said words that impressed, like, you know, impressions of ourselves that we just kind of adopted. And it's like you did really good work this past year. Once again, it seems like even maybe on a subconscious level, if you don't consciously recognize it, of unmarrying yourself from those negative beliefs of yourself. Part of that radical honesty, that mirror reflection we were talking about earlier. Like, that's not really me. I'm not really, like, insert negative trait here. So commend yourself for that too, pile 3. Okay. And then let's, I'm going to grab, I always kind of shuffle this deck in a unique way because it's very big. I just take chunks of it. So we'll do that here. I'm going to take the top as well, and then we'll shuffle that, which is left over. So, yeah. I want to say you were a guiding light to other people in this past year as well, pile 3. I think you were a guiding light to other people in ways you don't understand. You, like, leading by example. Even if, once again, there's a lot of unconscious work here. I don't know. It's like you did a lot of good things you weren't even aware of. And they're like, spirit guides are like, I don't know why they don't recognize this, but it's probably why they're coming forward, because they want you to recognize it. But yeah, it's like you didn't recognize it at the time. Being a guiding light for others. It seems like you're a really good advice giver, or at least you have been in this past year for other people, pile 3. See, we have eagle, and eagle is triumph over troubles and obstacles. Okay. Triumph over troubles and obstacles. Yeah, like a major obstacle you overcame this past year. Let's see if we can glean more with the other card that's sticking out. We have door. Opportunities are waiting for you. So being very wise about opportunities that were available to you. It seems like you paid close attention to those opportunities and you were brave enough to take them. So I'm hearing, especially in terms of like your job or career, pile 3, they're saying commend yourself, or at least like that they're proud of you for the doors you opened or the opportunities that you risked taking, that they're proud of you for opening doors. Also, once again, I see a little bit of like a service to others type thing. Like you were opening doors for other people. I don't know if you took someone under your wing this past year at your career, or like you were volunteering and you took like a lot of, so you took someone younger under your wing, protecting them and guiding them, and they're saying you should be proud of that too. And helping them through, it's like a mentorship or like a, yeah, mentoring somebody, or it was like an intern at your job that you, or like an employee that works for you, or like a younger person in general that you really helped this year, even if you don't recognize it, pile 3. There's something you did that really impacted their life in a positive way. They're saying soul contract. I think it was like something that you were meant to do, like you agreed to do before you came to Earth this time to help this person. And they're commending you for pulling it off, doing it in the right way that it was supposed to be done. Okay. Yeah, they keep saying like taking people under your wing. Okay. Giving them advice. And they keep saying North Star. I almost wonder, they're saying it's like you served as an inspiration for them as well. Like you really made an impact in that person's life this past year, pile 3. Like you were someone that they've looked up to, is what they're saying. So commend yourself for that as well. Okay. Let's see. Let's draw your tarot cards to finalize the reading, everything coming out. So spirit guides, can you give us around 5 tarot cards that explains more? What are you most proud of them for in the past year? Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, I think. Is that 3? Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one is also standing out. We've got 5. Using the Yuletide Tarot, very fitting for this type of reading, right? Using the Yuletide Tarot for Yuletide Peace Week. Okay, we have the Sun reversed. Interesting, pile 2 also got this. Okay, Unveiling Truth. Also, maybe you got a bit of like a funk. And interesting, too, there's also, this particular depiction is, you can't really see it reversed. There are 2 children here, and they are having a toast. They're enjoying a picnic at a skating rink outside. So once again, I think of like connections with other people. Especially younger people younger than you, like that mentorship thing we discussed. We have the 10 of Pentacles. Okay. I think you're the first pile today that had a Pentacles card. Okay. 10 of Pentacles is all about inheritance, legacy, generations within a family, passing down from the old to the new. Okay. So once again, I get like that mentorship vibe. Could have even been like maybe someone younger in your family. And then we have the Three of Wands. Okay. Three of Wands is about going forward with ambitions for the future. Okay. Yep. Opening those doors, taking those opportunities despite the fear. So pile 3. Also, your spirit guides are saying, please pat yourself on the back for the strides you made towards your ambitions in this past year. Please. Because that, especially being the core card here, I always call it the heart of the matter with the middle card. You made good strides this year in that area. Okay. We have the 8 of Wands reversed. Okay. Reversed. Slowing down. Okay. Maybe you have had a tendency in your life to try to speed run through things. Maybe you usually are kind of like a zip, zip, zip type person. But it seems like with the 8 of Wands being present here reversed, it's like you finally like slowed down in some way that was beneficial. Okay. Last but not least, we have the Ace of Pentacles and other Pentacles, which is new opportunities, which is interesting because you also have opportunities are waiting for you from the Door card that we got earlier, okay? So really being emphasized here, and I know I already said it, but that's because I'm repeating it because we have the Ace of Pentacles that came out as well. Really emphasized, pile 3, is in the past year, you being really good about recognizing a good opportunity from a bad one, okay? Recognizing a risk versus this is a great venture to take, okay? It seems you made really, really good strides in that area this past year of knowing what, especially in terms of career and job, I'm hearing because of the Pentacles being so present, knowing what opportunities to take, okay? And being brave to take them. To take life by the horns is what I'm hearing, okay? Instead of, because sometimes people are offered opportunities and they get kind of scared and they hem and haw and they're like, oh, I don't know, it's kind of risky. But it's like you, pile 3, they're saying to me that you were really good about, I'll just repeat it, taking life by the horns, being like, this is a great thing opening up to me. I'm actually going to go forward for it and I'm not going to even hesitate. Okay. So in ways that you were brave this past year, maybe that's a better term, being brave, being courageous. Okay. Really be proud of yourself for that too. Yeah. And then we already talked about like the mentorship thing. That's kind of where I'm saying like the 10 of Pentacles coming in as just a reflection once again of you taking someone under your wing in the past year that you should also pat yourself on the back for. The slowing down card is interesting to me, that 8 of Wands reversed. I'm going to look at that for one moment. I think they're telling me that's more reflective of what we were talking about before with you noticing signs, okay, from your spirit guides. Trusting your gut intuition, slowing down instead of just kind of like speeding through life. It was like you listened to yourself more and you thought through things more carefully than you have in previous years before this year. Really weighing options, and I think that reflected too in your ability to recognize a good versus a bad risk. And two, with like your flaws or any of your bad habits that you overcame this past year, pile 3, you were really good about slowing down and noticing, hey, maybe I'm spending too much, just as one example, or hey, maybe I need to invest more time in recognizing like the opportunities around me that I'm not seeing yet. Okay, and then the Sun reversed too is the first card. Makes me think of not only unveiling the truth within yourself, like we talked about radical honesty, because the Sun in tarot can represent light, which can represent, like I said, truth in things. It's like seeing yourself very clearly, but unashamedly, because I think, that's the thing, pile 3. A lot of people are afraid of shadow work. They're afraid of self-improvement because they're afraid of what it'll reveal about themselves that they don't want to really think about. But it's like this past year, once again, emphasizing that keyword of bravery and courageousness, right? Being fearless about facing yourself and facing your own inner demons and facing things about yourself. They keep saying it's like working the kinks out in your soul. It's a very interesting phrase they're using, but it's like you are very good about ironing out issues that needed to be ironed out within. And they're very proud of you for that, pile 3. So like, good job on working out those kinks. Because a lot of people go through life and they just don't even think about, working on their own flaws, which is kind of sad. But yeah, as we all know, there's a lot of people that just don't even think about their own flaws. But it's like you were able to cast that light upon yourself internally. And you weren't afraid of the monsters you might find at all. And you've shone a light on them and you said, okay, let's slay some of these monsters. Let's fix out some of these problems, okay? And too, that, like that eagle saying too, triumph over troubles and obstacles. I think those were the main obstacles this past year for you that you should be proud of, pile 3, that your spirit guides are proud of you for, is like you overcoming those internal monsters. Like they're showing me almost kind of in a cute corny way. It's like you taking up the armor, almost like your pile leader being in armor that you chose, taking up the armor of being like an adventurer and going on your own little journey internally and fighting those monsters along the way of your inner demons and your own flaws. And they're saying it's like you defeated like a final boss this year. You really overcame something major in terms of a flaw that they're very proud of you for. Yeah. A life lesson learned, they're saying. So I think you made a lot of really good strides this past year, pile 3. Not just externally, but also internally. In fact, out of all the piles today, I want to say I feel like you've made the most progress in the past year. Not to put pile 1 or 2 down at all, pile 3, but it's like I'm getting the sense out of all the piles today, you have made the most. It's like you were the one that like charged most bravely into the year of 2024 and said, I am going to just bash through these obstacles and I'm going to break through and I'm going to like get things done this year. Okay, is what I'm hearing from your spirit guides. Excuse me, my voice is getting a bit scratchy, but breaking through. Yeah, it's like they're showing a lot of Taurus energy, Taurus, Earth. Being very stubborn like a bull, just kind of like riding through. It's like they're showing me like a bull like plowing through mountains. And that represents you, pile 3, this past year that you should be proud of. Maybe you are actually like a Taurus, pile 3, or maybe you have a lot of Taurus placements in your chart, or a lot of Earth energy in general, right? Very down to earth, very stubborn in a good way, okay? Hard-headed in a good way. Determined is a really good word. You're almost kind of like pile 2 that way. Or is that pile 1? I can't remember. One of the other piles had like a very good determination theme, but you especially pile 3, it seems like they really want to commend you for that. So yeah, I believe that is everything I'm seeing from your cards. So just to summarize for you, pile 3, really commend yourself for people you took under your wing this year was one theme we really saw. Facing your inner demons and slaying your inner monsters in terms of like your own flaws or like your bad habits. I feel like you made really good strides in the past year over that too. Identifying like negative thought patterns, overcoming, I think that's kind of like reflective too of like the inner monster slaying. Maybe a lot of that was you having negative beliefs about yourself and maybe being pessimistic about yourself that you overcame, or at least made a really good stride in this past year. We also talked about like the risks and opportunities. You were very good about balancing those two things in this past year, they're saying. Noticing signs from them, we also had mentioned. That was another part we talked about. Slowing down was another emphasis, okay? Thinking through things a little bit more carefully. Maybe also reflective of like the risk-taking carefulness we talked about. And just being ambitious and brave this past year. And doing good for others as well. Especially, like we said, that kind of mentorship, taking people under your wing theme. Okay. So, yeah. Beautiful reading, pile 3. Yeah. So I hope you liked it. I hope it resonated. And if you did like it and it did resonate with you, please like and comment and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. And as is our tradition on the channel, pile 3, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. I hope to see you tomorrow in day 5 of Yuletide Peace Week. But if not, at the very least, I hope to see you in the next reading that you catch from my channel. So thank you so much for tuning in today, pile 3. And I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. I know I already said that, but You can have 2 wonderful rest of your days. Anyways, okay. Bye, pile 3.